Everybody, it's EK from EKGormanDesigns.com, and I am coming in today because I am trying something a little bit different. I am doing a mixed media page or art journal page loose leaf, using some stuff from the White Rose Crafts store. Really, I wanted to play around with my new Distress Oxide sprays and see what they look like in comparison to my Distress Oxide ink spray. No, my Distress ink sprays. And just kind of get a comparison going. Now, I started off with the ink sprays. This is from my personal collection that I've had forever. I've always been a big spray fan. And I took some, this is some heavy-bodied, I want to say 110 pound, but it might be even more than that, watercolor paper. And I just kind of cut it up so it's a nice, fun shape. Really, I cut it so it would be, yeah. But I sprayed the ink sprays onto it. And then dried them. I will warn you, I dried it at 4 times. I don't dry this fast, and nor does it dry this fast, but I sped it up to maybe 4 times as fast. I was trying to get a nice marble base of the ink sprays down. Then I pulled out the new Oxide sprays and sprayed it over the top. I wanted to see how the Oxide sprays would layer over existing color. Not necessarily existing Oxide color. I will do a better comparison of the two types at some point, but I just don't have enough of them corresponding. At the moment, these are the only two colors that I have in each style. But they don't move quite like the ink sprays do. You get a little water onto the ink sprays and boy, they move. You get a little water onto the oxides and they really react. So again, more play is needing to come to see really where the difference between the two come in. But I like how these layered. I really, really enjoyed how the two of them built up. I pulled out a stencil and sprayed a lot of clean water through it, and then using my paper towel just dabbed the water away. I didn't even let the water sit really that long on the spray, but you can see how it pulled up the color really nicely to leave that stonework pattern behind. It's really subtle, but I like that it's really subtle. I will warn you, I'm real rusty. I haven't been playing with mixed media for some time now. It's a mistake. I love it. It feels like home. It's where I started really in the crafting world, was mixed media, and got into card making later. And now I'm really trying to push myself to come back into the mixed media world and art journaling world, because it really is home for me. Some of the new products on the market have really encouraged me to get back into my roots. I wasn't crazy about how the corners of this page turned out. There was a lot more white than I liked, so I pulled out the Distress Oxide and just blended some cracked pistachio around the corners to kind of fill in the void that I felt was existing. I then pulled out the Cat Scratches stencil and some picked raspberry Distress Oxide just to add a few more layers. For me, the key to mixed media has always been subtle layers. Layers that aren't glaringly obvious, but built upon one another to create a visual effect that you wouldn't naturally expect. So I've got multiple colors of the same ink, and there is a slight variation between the sprays and the oxide colors. I've got some water resist, I've got some additional inking, and suddenly the page starts to take a life of its own and look, in my opinion, interesting. The key when working with a stencil for me has always been don't do the whole stencil, just do patches of it. Let it feel layered. I knew I needed another layer on top of this current color, and I needed to break the colors up just a little bit. Oh, see, found another spot where it felt empty. I think there's one more. Nope. So I pulled out this clock stamp from Kaisercraft, and I pulled out a water-based ink that I thought would be an effective, so if I needed to get something wet again, I wouldn't run the ink, so I pulled out a ink that was not water reactive. And just kind of hit this page with some stamping. You'll notice I'm not clearly stamping. I'm letting it in a handful of places show the clock. But for the most part, I'm just dropping black ink. I'm just trying to hit it with hints of stamping. And again, not any clear stamping. It breaks up the pattern and it just adds an additional layer to the whole feel of everything. Now I wanted to add a little texture, and I'm still learning and playing with this new expanding mousse. Lots more play coming. Lots more play with the expanding mousse coming. But I pulled out the Warden Linen new expanding mousse and laid it, or ran it through my cat scratches stencil again. So this same stencil I used the Oxide on, and you'll notice my stencil's actually still dirty. I did it intentionally so some of that pink oxide could get pulled into the expanding mousse and it wouldn't feel so glaringly bright white. Like there's just a little bit of that pink coming through with it because of the dirty stencil. Dirty stencils are good stencils. Don't feel like you have to clean your stencil just because you're changing medium. Let them mix. It's never going to hurt anything. Or at least it hasn't yet. And again, you'll see I've got a little bit more patches of stencils, but it's, I pulled up any extra mousse from my table and from the stencil, and then just using my palette knife, rubbed off whatever leftover ink was on it. Again, just to break up that kind of flow. Keep the perfection feel from existing. Now the thing about this expanding mousse is when you hit it with heat, it, quote unquote, expands. So I'm hitting it with heat and letting it do its thing. I didn't get my heat gun heated up quite enough initially to let it do its thing magically from the beginning, but it got there eventually in the end. And even the places where I ran that palette knife with the leftover dirty ink had some expansion, so I'm kind of digging this stuff. It's not as poofy and puffy as I would want, but I'm also laying it on pretty thin. I need to at some point lay a really good thick layer of this expanding mousse down and see what, like, go to town and see what happens. I knew I wanted a sentiment, and I didn't really have any ephemera that had the right feel of a sentiment for me, so I pulled out these Kelly Creates sentiment quotes. And the whole theory behind these is they lay out the handwriting for you, and then you should be able to go over it and trace the stamped image and it look like you have script writing. I have the worst script writing. I have tried. Oh, how I've tried. It's just not going to happen for me. But with a product like this, it can kind of fake it happen for me. I can kind of make look like my individual handwriting. I used the metallic jewel pen and initially was like, oh, I'll use the pink one. It wasn't going to show up. So I pulled out the gold and started writing. Sorry about my mug getting in it. Like, I just can't brush script from far away. I have to actually get my face in there to see. It doesn't help that I use such a light ink that I had trouble actually seeing the ink, because I'm a dork, as we all know. But I got the gold in, and then I realized the gold was getting lost in all the ink. Like, you just couldn't read it. So I pulled out my detailing pen and just added a highlight to the right side of all the letters. Here, I even zoomed in for you so you could see me get, actually, yeah. So just on the right side, anywhere where there could potentially be a shadow, oh, not the right side, the left side, anywhere there could potentially be a shadow on the left side of the frame, I dropped in a little black pen. And it helped bring forward the writing. Probably still the wrong color. I probably should, I don't know what color I should have used. One of the last things I always do with kind of a messy mixed media page like this is add in some splatters. And to keep it in the theme of I only use 2 colors plus the gold pen, was I pulled back out the picked raspberry the distress oxide and just splashed the page with it. Finally, I needed just a few more, I don't know, layers, but I didn't want it to be, hello, obvious. So I pulled out this fun floral image from Inkadinkado and my distress pink oxide again, and just added some hints of floral throughout the page. I'm really rusty at this. I'm hoping I maybe redevelop some of the skills I feel like I've lost by, you know, time and practice and just doing. So let me know what you think in the comments below. If you want to see more mixed media pages and journal pages, I'll be happy to do them because I've missed it. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy crafting.